Welcome back to TeachVer. If you're watching this right now, congratulations. You're officially one of the people who wants to know the truth behind the PlayStation 5 Pro, what it really is, what it really isn't, and most importantly, whether the hype, the rumors, the leaks, and the promises actually mean something for you. Because here's the thing. Everyone online is talking about the PS5 Pro like it's some kind of magical machine that's going to change gaming forever. But very few people dig into the why. Why does Sony suddenly want to drop a Pro model? Why now? Why during a console generation that still feels like it just started? By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what the PS5 Pro is trying to accomplish, who should consider buying it, and why this console might end up being the most controversial PlayStation upgrade ever released. So sit tight, get comfortable, and let's go deep into the world of next-level gaming, because the PS5 Pro is not just another console. It's a message, and that message is simple. Sony thinks you want more power. But do you? Let's start with the basics, but not the boring basics. We're not here to list specs like robots. We're going to talk about what those specs actually mean for you, for your games, and for the future of PlayStation. The first thing you need to understand is this. The PS5 Pro isn't about giving you something new. It's about fixing something that shouldn't have happened in the first place. You see, when the original PS5 launched, Sony promised us 4K 60 FPS gaming. You remember those trailers? Smooth, crisp, beautiful. Reality? Many games struggled to hit that target. And as the years passed, developers pushed graphics harder and the PS5 struggled harder. Enter the PS5 Pro. Its entire mission is to do what the PS5 couldn't do consistently. People call it a mid-generation refresh. But let's be honest, it's more like Sony saying, okay, we might have underestimated the scale of modern gaming. Let's try this again. Now imagine this. You're playing a massive open-world game. You look toward the horizon, cities, forests, oceans, storms, everything full of life and motion. On a basic PS5, you're choosing between resolution mode or performance mode. But with the PS5 Pro, Sony wants you to choose nothing. Just play. Let the hardware do the work. And that's where the real upgrade begins. The new graphics capability, often referred to as PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. Yeah, it's a mouthful. Works like this. Instead of brute forcing 4K, the system uses incredibly smart upscaling to make your games look crisp, clean, and detailed, without melting the console into a hot pancake. Think of it like giving your games a built-in graphics assistant that fixes everything in real time. But here's what will surprise you. The PS5 Pro is less about new visuals and more about stability. Gamers don't just want pretty graphics. They want smooth, predictable, reliable performance. No dips, no estúteres, no weird blade emotion. The PS5 Pro is designed to keep everything locked, secure, and consistent, even in the most demanding scenes. Picture this. Explosions everywhere, enemies swarming, particle effects flying across the screen. On PS5, your frames dip. On PS5 Pro, the system says, relax. I got this. And we're not even done. Another thing you need to know is this. Games made for the PS5 Pro will still work on the PS5, but developers will create enhanced modes specifically for the Pro. That means better lighting, better reflections, better shadows, and sometimes entirely different graphical features that the PS5 simply can't handle. So yes, this console will make old games look better, new games run smoother, and future games become more ambitious. But here's the twist. The PS5 Pro isn't only about power, it's about timing. And Sony's timing is interesting because it raises questions. Why release a Pro model right before the next generation? Why release a Pro model when the PS5 shortages only ended recently? Why release something mid-gen when developers are still learning to fully use the base model? Some say it's because Sony wants to compete with high-end PCs. Others say it's to prepare for the next wave of games, especially massive open-world titles that just can't run smoothly on the original hardware. And some believe it's simply business, keeping players excited, keeping the industry talking, and keeping PlayStation at the center of gaming conversations. But there's another theory, a bigger one. The PS5 Pro might be the bridge to something much larger, a future where consoles become more like phones. Regular upgrades every few years. Not full generations, but step-by-step improvements. Instead of waiting 7 years for the next PlayStation, maybe we'll see small jumps like PS5, PS5 Pro, PS6 Mini, PS6 Pro, a rolling evolution instead of massive resets. Think about it. Developers would love it. Sony would love it. Gamers who crave power would love it. And the PS5 Pro might be the first true step into that future. But let's focus back on the present. If you buy the PS5 Pro, what changes for you immediately? Faster load times? Yes. Better textures? Yes. Better ray tracing? Definitely. Higher frame rates? Absolutely. Games that barely hit 30 FPS on the base PS5 could potentially hit 60 on the Pro. Games that hit 60 could get closer to 120. And once developers start building with the Pro in mind, you'll see even bigger improvements. Imagine your favorite game, whatever it is. Now imagine it with twice the visual clarity, double the frame stability, and zero compromise. That's the PS5 Pro pitch. But here's the question everyone asks. Is it worth it? To answer that, let's get brutally honest. If you're a casual gamer, if you play a few titles, if you jump into Fortnite or Madden or GTA from time to time, if you don't care about graphics or frame rates or tiny visual details, then no, the PS5 Pro probably won't change your life. But if you're the kind of gamer who notices when a frame drops, when shadows flicker, when textures turn mushy, when resolutions wobble between 1440p and 4K, then yes, this console is literally built for you. And if you're the kind of player who wants the best possible experience for the next 4 to 5 years until the PS6 arrives, the PS5 Pro is more than an upgrade. It's insurance. Insurance that your games will look better, run better, and age better. But here's what's fascinating. The PS5 Pro might actually become more valuable over time, not less. Why? Because developers eventually push consoles to their limits. Games coming out 3 years from now will probably max out the PS5 in ways we can't even imagine yet. And when that happens, the base PS5 could start to struggle while the Pro remains steady. This is the same thing that happened with the PS4 and PS4 Pro. Toward the end of the generation, the Pro felt essential. The base PS4 felt outdated. Sony knows this pattern. They've seen the results, and they're repeating it. Now let's talk about something very important, the psychology of gaming. See, people don't buy consoles for specs. They buy them for experiences, for feelings, for moments that stick with them. The PS5 Pro is promising not just better graphics, but better immersion. The kind of immersion where you forget you're holding a controller. The kind where you lose track of the real world for an hour or two because the game feels alive. That's the real power of the PS5 Pro. Not numbers on a screen, not teraflops or clock speeds, but pure, uninterrupted immersion. But the biggest question you need to ask yourself is this: what kind of gamer do you want to be? Because here's the truth Sony won't tell you. The PS5 Pro isn't for everyone. It's not trying to be. It's not meant to replace the base PS5. It's meant to complement it. It's meant for players who want to experience the absolute best their games have to offer. And here's a little secret. Developers always build their games based on the most powerful hardware available. Always. That means the PS5 Pro becomes the new standard. The new baseline for how good a game should look. Even if the base PS5 still runs everything, the Pro becomes the measuring stick. So when developers imagine bigger worlds, smarter AI, denser graphics, richer environments, they'll build with the PS5 Pro in mind. This means the PS5 Pro isn't just an upgrade for you. It's an upgrade for the entire PlayStation ecosystem. And now let's talk about something that may surprise you. Storage. Games are getting massive. 90 GB, 110 GB, 150 GB, with future titles hitting 200 GB easily. The PS5 Pro will make this easier with better compression and faster reading speeds. That means less waiting, less loading, and less frustration. But it also means this: the Pro is designed for the future. Not the present, not the past, the future. And that's where we make the final turn in. this story, because the PS5 Pro isn't just about power. It's about possibility. The possibility that the next big game, the one that blows your mind, the one that becomes the next cultural phenomenon, will look and run best on the PS5 Pro. The possibility that your favorite franchise will evolve in ways that wouldn't be possible without better hardware. The possibility that the games you love today will feel brand new again. So as you're watching this, think about what you really want out of your gaming experience. Do you want good enough? Or do you want the best it can be? Because at the end of the day, the PS5 Pro is not asking you to buy it out of necessity. It's asking you to buy it out of desire, out of passion for gaming, out of love for the craft of interactive worlds. And if that sounds like you, then the PS5 Pro might just be the best upgrade you make all year. But to really understand the PS5 Pro, we have to look at something that most gamers never think about, something behind the scenes, something that shapes every success and every failure in the gaming industry. The relationship between hardware and creativity. Because here's the honest truth, creativity grows when hardware allows it. When developers have freedom, they build magic. When they're limited, they build compromises. And over the past few years, developers have reached a point where the base PS5, while powerful, is starting to show its constraints. Think about the games you played recently: big, immersive, open worlds, cities full of life, weather systems, day-night cycles, realistic lighting, huge storylines, high-density textures. All of this requires massive computing power. And the PS5, as impressive as it is, wasn't prepared for how quickly games would evolve. The PS5 Pro gives developers breathing room again. It gives them headspace. It lets them dream without the constant fear of performance drops and technical limits. For developers, the Pro is not just an upgrade. It's a relief. Imagine being an artist asked to paint a mural on a canvas that's too small. No matter how good you are, you'll feel restricted. But suddenly, someone brings you a bigger canvas, better brushes, and brighter colors. That's what the PS5 Pro feels like to game creators. And that means your games are about to transform, not just visually, but emotionally. Imagine playing a horror game where shadows feel alive because the lighting is more dynamic. Imagine a racing game where reflections move realistically across the hood of your car at 120 frames per second. Imagine a story-driven game where facial animations are so detailed that you can feel every emotion in a character's eyes. These aren't just graphics improvements. These are emotional improvements. They affect how you feel when you play. And that's the secret power of the PS5 Pro. It affects emotion. It turns playing into experiencing. It turns watching into living. It turns graphics into immersion. But the story gets deeper. Because another question people don't ask is this: why now? Why did Sony choose this exact moment to release an upgraded system? It's simple. Sony knows the gaming landscape is changing faster than ever. Competition is fiercer. Player expectations are higher. The demand for realism is skyrocketing. And game studios are pushing boundaries so aggressively that hardware generations need to evolve just to keep up. And here's something even more surprising. The PS5 Pro isn't just about gaming. It's about the future of entertainment. Think about what your console does today. It's a streaming device, a media hub, a place where you watch movies, shows, sports, YouTube, Twitch, everything. And as content evolves into 8K, HDR+, high bitrate streaming, and more advanced formats, the PS5 Pro becomes your future-proof device. In other words, it's not just a gaming upgrade. It's a lifestyle upgrade. But let's talk about something more personal, your gaming experience. Remember the first time you played a truly breathtaking game? The kind of game that made you stop for a moment just to admire the world? The kind of game that made you say, wow, I've never seen anything like this. The PS5 Pro is built to deliver that feeling again. Because whether you're exploring futuristic cities, wandering across ancient landscapes, or diving into deep space, the Pro wants every frame to feel like a painting and every moment to feel like a memory. And part of this upgrade comes from something people overlook: ray tracing. Ray tracing isn't just a buzzword. It's the heart of realism. It's what makes lighting behave the way lighting does in real life. It's what makes reflections reflect things accurately. It's what makes shadows look deep, rich, and believable.